Hi, I'm Kathy from the Delafield Quilt Company. If you're new here, I love quilting and I love sharing the projects I'm working on and how I made them. For this project, all you're going to need is one mini charm pack and some coordinating solids. So if you've got some mini charm packs, you're not quite sure what to do with them, you might want to check this little quilt out. I hope you enjoy the video. This little mini quilt finishes about 20 inches by 20 inches. And for fabric requirements, we need a mini charm pack or 40 2.5-inch squares of a print fabric. Today I'm going to be using Songbook A New Page. We also need a coordinating solid, and I am using a Bella solid in Natural from Moda. And then from the solid fabric, we're going to need 24 2.5-inch squares, an 8.5-inch square, and then 4 strips that are at least 20 inches in length. So to get started on this quilt, I'm just going to start by pulling 16 of my little 2.5-inch mini squares. And I want ones that are not too close to the natural color because these are going to be sewn to those for half square triangles. I'm just going to go ahead and pick 16. And then I'm also going to need 16 of the 2.5-inch squares of the natural fabric. Okay, then once you have your 16 picked out, we can move on to the next step, and that's to create 16 half square triangles. So to do that pretty quickly, I'm just going to take my 2.5-inch solid fabric, fold that in half. You could, if you wanted to, draw a line diagonally, because we're going to use this as our sewing guide when we sew these together. I'm just trying to do this a little faster, so I'm just going to fold it, but you could do whatever you prefer on this. So I'm going to get just a few started here. And then I'm going to sew them together. Okay, so I've got all of my pieces ready to go for these 16 half square triangles. And I did put them right sides together. And then I'm going to go ahead and I am just going to sew right on the line, the diagonal line that I made earlier. And I'm just going to keep piecing these together. I'm not going to cut the strings in between. And it should make it go pretty fast. So now that I have all of these sewn, I'm just going to trim about 1/4 inch from the diagonal line on one of the sides of each of these. So now that I've got these trimmed, I'm just going to press these to one side. And I'm going to press it so it's towards the print fabric. Now that I've got these all pressed up, I am just going to cut them apart. And then I'll show you how to put this together. Okay, we're going to need the rest of our squares for the solids and the prints. And we're going to need our 8.5-inch square as well. So basically we want to build a star out of these. And to do that, it's pretty simple. For the top, we're going to use 4 of our half square triangles, a couple of our charm squares, and a couple of the white 2.5-inch squares. And of course our 8.5-inch block in the center. And I'm going to repeat that on the other 3 sides to get our star shape going. Okay, so I've got most of this all laid out. The only thing I'm missing on this is the borders now. But I just wanted to talk through a little bit about how I did this. So I've got the centerpiece, the 8.5, and then I used the half square triangles to make up the points. And I filled in with the 2.5 solid. And then I put the rest of the mini charms to fill in the other spaces. So then to sew this together, I'm going to sew probably these top 2 rows first, and then the bottom 2 rows, and then I'm going to sew these sections together on each side of this bigger square, and then sew those to the square, and then sew the rest together. And then I'll come back and I will show you how to put the borders on. Okay, now I've got the star all sewn together. And the more I work with this fabric, the Songbook New Page, I absolutely love the print. Such a pretty collection. So now I just need to put the borders on it. I'm just going to take my 2.5-inch strips. I'm going to start on the sides first. I'm going to sew those, then press them, and then I'll trim them down so they align with the top and the bottom. And then I'll sew the top and bottom strips on. I'm going to go do that, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's all done. Okay, now I've got the entire top of this little mini quilt finished. I think I might quilt this and maybe turn it into a pillow. So I hope that you enjoyed today's video. If you haven't yet, please visit us at delafieldquiltco.com and consider subscribing to our channel. Have a great day.